Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Lindgren. As all of us watch the war unfolding in Ukraine, for some families in the southern tier, it's not a world away. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst shows us how they're raising awareness and support for Ukraine, because the crisis is personal.
Good evening. Nearly a week into the conflict, and residents throughout the southern tier are making their voices heard in support of Ukraine. One local couple is assisting residents in donating money towards the cause. Horns blared throughout downtown Elmira this afternoon as Don Kakritz led a protest in support of Ukraine.
My wife is Ukrainian and she's in Ukraine right now, and they're bombing her city.
Kakritz took to the streets in order to bring awareness to the Russian invasion and to encourage residents to provide support for Ukraine.
I just want the people to understand that Putin is a thug, and they need to support the Ukrainian people.
Over in Painted Post, one Ukrainian couple is using their local photography and print shop to help fundraise for soldiers on the front lines.
We were approached by a lot of people asking, like, hey, how can we help financially?
Vlad Danko and his wife Mira are selling homemade stickers supporting Ukraine on their website. All the money will be then donated to the Come Back Alive charity, which specifically helps the Ukrainian army.
They help soldiers by buying them helmets and body armor and provisions and medications.
Just 48 hours after setting up, Danko Imaging has raised a little under $2,000. Vlad says he's grateful for the support from nearby residents.
We are living in such a great country, and it's great that people are just supporting and not standing by.
Residents who are interested in donating and getting a sticker can go online to photos.danko-imaging.com. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Ukraine's military forces are claiming they are stalling the attack on their nation's capital. This with reports that Russian soldiers may be running out of basic needs for battle. Trey Ginks reports from Kyiv, Ukraine.
Yes! Yes! It's day 6 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and U.S. intelligence says the attack on Kyiv is stalled. A 40-mile-long Russian military column facing fierce resistance as it rolls slowly toward the Ukrainian capital. Senior Pentagon officials tell Fox News Russian troops are running out of basic supplies like fuel and food, and the Russian military significantly underestimated the strength of the resistance, backed by America and the West.
We are trying to do everything we can to provide them the assistance, whether it's security assistance, weapons, military assistance.
Now, there's a new concern. Russia allegedly targeting civilians with cluster bombs in Kharkiv, where heavy fighting has been reported for much of the past 24 hours. The UN Security Council holding an emergency meeting, with the U.S. floating the idea of stronger diplomatic consequences if Russia doesn't withdraw.
One can reasonably ask whether a UN member state that tries to take over another UN member state while committing horrific human rights abuses should be allowed to remain on this council.
The U.S. also imposing new sanctions as the Russian economy continues to deteriorate. And in Lviv, volunteers are busy making weapons, camouflage, and other necessities for Ukrainian troops, saying the targeting of civilians has only strengthened their resolve.
They put their lives at risk. They die there for us. If we can do anything, make a small impact and help them, then it is our duty.
And on Tuesday, the European Union voted overwhelmingly in favor of accepting Ukraine's application for membership.
Financial pressure on Vladimir Putin is coming not just from world leaders, but state governors as well. They're now taking steps to divest from all Russian investments in the United States. Matt Finn has the story.
Russia's economy taking a nosedive Monday as it faces widespread blowback from its invasion of Ukraine. The Russian central bank doubling interest rates as the value of the Russian ruble plummeted. The U.S. Treasury Department announcing further restrictions on the bank Monday, blocking it from doing business with Americans and freezing its assets in the United States. In addition to unprecedented sanctions from the global community, many state leaders are now doing what they can to add the financial squeeze on Moscow, passing new laws to suspend or block all business with Russia.
Whereas the state will not permit its own investment activity, whether directly or indirectly, to aid Russia as it commits these human rights violations and atrocities.
New York and Washington are among several states welcoming displaced Ukrainian refugees. According to the UN, more than 500,000 people have fled the country since the war began. Lawmakers are also moving to stop the sale of Russian-sourced products. In states that control the sale of alcohol, Russian vodka is now coming off the shelves.
I feel okay with it. Whatever helps them. I don't think what he's doing is right, so.
While the financial impact is small compared to the weight of international sanctions, state leaders say they wanted to show solidarity with the Ukrainian people.
As Russia ramps up its aggression, governments around the world are on high alert for a massive cyber attack. Here's Kurt, the cyber guy, to tell us how we can protect ourselves from foreign hackers.
We've got our eye on concerning cyber activity here on U.S. soil. America's largest chip maker, NVIDIA, suffered a cyber attack on Friday that totally compromised its internal systems. Supply chain shipping logistics taking a hit also. Seattle-based Expeditors International continues recovery efforts from an attack that crippled operations and the movement of freight shipments to 300 locations. As hacker group Anonymous declares it's joining the Ukrainian call for cyber warfare help, Anonymous now claiming responsibility for 300 disruptions to Russian government computers, including the Russian Defense Ministry. We know that both the U.S. and Russia have enormous cyber warfare capabilities. We also know of an ongoing malware attack targeted at Ukraine called Wiper for its destructive payload that wipes systems completely. If history tells us anything, cyber attacks don't have borders. They often spill over, causing havoc and unintended targets over time. Add to the equation, a first in history, the uprising of cyber patriots and vigilante hackers waging war for one side or the other. It has never been more important to make yourself hard to hack. And here's what to do. Be cautious with every link you get in text, email, and social media post right now. Also, double check you've got the latest software updates in all your devices. Back up that data to a drive, not just the cloud, and use a strong password manager. Most importantly, make sure you've got good antivirus protection across all your devices. I've just posted an extensive review of strong antivirus protection and 5 ways to arm yourself against cyber attacks at my blog at cyberguy.com. I'm Kurt the Cyber Guy for Fox Business.
Elmira police are looking for the suspect in a convenience store robbery. Officers were called to the Easy Stop Food Mart along Broadway Street early Monday morning. According to police, the suspect handed a note to the cashier demanding money and cigarettes. After making off with the money, the suspect took off down Franklin Street. Anyone with information about the robbery is asked to call the Elmira Police Department. The Steuben County Sheriff's Office is offering pistol permit safety courses over the next few months. 5 courses will be held at the County Public Safety Building between April and October. The Sheriff's Office says those 21 and over with no felony record are permitted to take the classes. Attendees must also live or work in Steuben County. Pre-registration for the courses can be found on the Steuben County website. Your complete forecast is coming up next. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
All right, thanks again for checking in as we take a look at your local forecast. I'm meteorologist Todd Nelson, and the view from the National Weather Service in Binghamton showing some cloudier skies. A little bit of precipitation across the region, especially off to the north, but not really adding up to too much. Now, we ran the numbers for the month of February in Elmira and Corning. Average temperature was 24.5 degrees, a little bit below average by a couple of degrees. We also managed to see precipitation at 2 3/4 of an inch, nearly 9/10 of an inch above average. And then that snowfall was nearly 2 inches below average. So again, in terms of precipitation, above average, and it was also a little bit cooler, but most of that precipitation fell as kind of a mixed bag. Now, the extended outlook from the 6th to the 10th of March, suggesting that we're going to be above average again over the northeastern part of the country, and it will be a milder day, of course, on Wednesday. March 2nd here. 44s are expected high, the average of 40, waking up to slightly above average temperatures as well. And your 6:40 sunrise there is starting to get earlier and earlier. But we should mention that we're only a week and a half away from the time change. That's when we spring ahead 1 hour, the second Sunday of March. But a light mix tonight with some quieter conditions into Wednesday. A little bit of a rain-snow mix developing again on Thursday here with that next clipper. It will be windy. We'll have some snow chances. And then a late weekend system will warm our temperatures up for some rain showers on Saturday night, Sunday, and even into early next week. So again, we do have a chance for maybe a very light mix tonight, but that shouldn't be adding up to much. Wednesday's a little bit quieter prior to that next clipper system moving on in. Wednesday night into Thursday, and notice more blue here. I think it'll be cold enough for some light snow accumulations across the region. Total liquid amounts with that next system adding up to maybe a few 100ths of an inch to the south and maybe a tenth to 2/10 of an inch as you head a little bit farther north. That's where snowfall amounts could be greater, maybe an inch or two, causing some slippery spots on area roads, maybe some slow going again Wednesday night, Thursday. Meanwhile, tonight we'll have very light wintry mix, temperatures falling down into the mid and upper 20s for most locations. A little bit on the cooler side, of course, with that wind chill, but the winds starting to pick up a little bit more here as we head into the afternoon out of the northwest, up to near 15, maybe 20 mile an hour. But generally Wednesday will be a quieter day with a mixture of clouds and sun. We'll call it partly sunny, and readings here again slightly above average. Those temperatures, of course, will be a little bit above average, but then by Thursday, we see even cooler conditions as the next system slides through with some snowfall potential down into the 20s for those highs. And then Saturday night into Sunday, we have some rain showers.
Ukrainian Americans are giving everything they can to help their loved ones overseas. This, as many others watch helplessly around the world. Casey Cronus has more.
More than 5,000 miles from Ukraine, friends and strangers are banding together, collecting, sorting, and packaging items to send overseas.
I am here because I love my family and I love my people, and I will do everything in my power to help them.
For more than 8 hours. Mist Karpaty, an international shipping service, on Monday transformed into a hub for humanitarian aid.
It just makes me proud to be Ukrainian at this moment. Makes me very uplifted, makes me feel like there's nothing that can conquer us, nothing that can break us.
From across the city and suburbs.
It's really cool that the community is gathering around and actually helping out.
Donations include medical supplies, military and safety gear, food, clothing, diapers, and other hygiene products. Items so desperately needed by family members in Ukraine, like one volunteer's cousin who's been hiding out in her basement for 5 days.
She's saying they're running out of food, of everything, the bombing happening 24/7.
Sending strength from Chicago.
This is just a little, tiniest help I can give to my country, to my people.
As Ukraine fights to maintain its freedom.
I know we're gonna win, and I know we're gonna have Ukraine back. Slava Ukraini!
In Las Vegas, a man accused of trying to lure a child was arrested over the weekend. According to police, video posted to social media helped them track down the suspect. Sophia Perricone reports.
Just 3 days after officers said they were looking for a man accused of trying to lure a child into his car for sexual acts, the suspect was arrested. Metro said if it weren't for a very clear video and help from social media, they may not have been able to put him behind bars as quick. This cell phone video shared by LVMPD shows the tense moments a woman approaches a driver speaking to a young child near Karen and Eastern, right between Valley High School and Lake Elementary. That video captured by the child's relative would later be key in arresting 53-year-old Jaime Angeles. He's now behind bars facing charges of luring a child to engage in sexual acts.
So one of the things that was important about this case is the video. It clearly shows the individual, it shows the vehicle, it even shows a sticker that was placed on the vehicle.
Aiden Ocampo Gomez with Metro says once that video hit social media, tips started coming in left and right.
A lot of people were taking this incident very seriously, and it's due to all those people that were able to share this and provide it to the news that we were able to capture this individual, and now he is in jail.
And this isn't the first time social media has helped catch a criminal. In November, LVMPD arrested Jesus Uribe thanks to a tip after this photo was shared by police on social media.
See something, say something, because it doesn't matter how small the thing that you see, it might be a piece to something else.
As of Monday, Angeles was not listed on the sex offender registry, but Ocampo Gomez says multiple people commented on their social media post of the suspect, saying that he may have attempted to talk to their own children as well.
There were some individuals on our Facebook post that were talking about that, hey, this is possibly the same person that my child was talking about. But unless we get a report of some situation like this, we cannot investigate. So if you see something, say something.
We looked into his criminal record and he did not have any prior arrests. He is due in court for the first time tomorrow morning at 7:30.
Terrifying moments after a school bus filled with children overturned in North Carolina. Aaron Thomas has the story.
Nobody expected this.
Justin Baker is still coming to terms with what he experienced on his way home from school. This school bus overturned while he and 30 other Cleveland High School students were on board.
Whenever it happened, I blacked out and I didn't really know what was going on.
With cuts and scrapes on his face, he immediately called his mother.
Your heart just jumps out of your chest.
Sky 5 flew over the scene that closed down Polenta Road for hours. Investigators say the bus driver traveled off the road, overcorrected, crossed the center line, and overturned.
I heard what sounded like screaming and a little bit of crashing.
Carl Huff was doing handiwork at a neighbor's house when he heard what happened and went out of his way to rescue the bus driver who appeared to be stuck.
I crawled through the window next to the bus driver door and I got in there and the door wouldn't open. And so we kicked it down.
That driver and 11 students were taken to local hospitals for treatment.
It's very scary. It's very scary, very emotional, very traumatic to think that something like that could happen.
But Jennifer Baker's thankful to have her beloved son back home.
Just focus on recovering and recuperating. Stay at home a day or two.
What's it like being the strongest 8th grader in the country? Rob Roth takes a look, learning about the California teen and his 2028 Olympic dreams.
Seth Evans may not be the biggest 8th grader in the country, but believe it or not, this Oakland resident is the strongest. Last year, Evans set 2 national records in weightlifting for his age, making him the strongest 13-year-old in the U.S. Now he's the #1 ranked 14-year-old.
If you have the perfect technique, then your strength will come along with it.
Last year we went to Detroit and he became a national champion.
Mike Jenkins is Seth's weightlifting coach. Jenkins runs a nonprofit gym in Oakland and noticed Seth as an 11-year-old. He just seemed different from the other boys.
Seth is able to focus, has a level of focus on his training that's kind of unusual for kids his age. He can just do the simple stuff, kind of the boring stuff, the training stuff. He really enjoys the process.
That focus extends to his diet, even though he's still a teenager.
I can't eat like the rest of my kids my age like to do. I can't do certain stuff, but it's part of the sacrifice I have to take.
No McDonald's for you?
Nah.
Seth's sacrifices, commitment, and talent level have caught the eye of Oakland's professional soccer team, the Oakland Roots. At the team's training facility in Alameda Monday, the Roots made a commitment to Seth that it would provide training equipment and money to help offset the cost of traveling to out-of-state weightlifting competitions.
We really want to be a club which helps celebrate and encourage the next generation of talent from here in Oakland.
With Seth's status as an elite weightlifter, the chance of competing in the 2028 Olympics is definitely a topic of conversation.
He's definitely on a track to do something special.
His parents say Seth's success has caught them a little off guard, but they say they've been enjoying the adventure.
It's been an awesome experience as a mom to watch him kind of flourish over these years.
3, 2, 1, go!
We want to leave you with a smile. 2 men from Idaho are bursting onto the scene with a new Guinness World Record. David Rush and Jonathan Hollywood Hannon are the latest duo to hold the world record for fastest time to pop 10 balloons between their bodies. The 2 men surpassing the previous record time of 17.99 seconds by completing the task in just 15.25 seconds. The tag team says they made it possible by changing up the technique. Previous record holders popped the balloons by hugging. Rush and Hannon found it more efficient to pop the balloons between their hips. David Rush can now add this feat to his more than 200 Guinness World Records. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time.